everybody. This is my sales update video for the sales that happened in May of 2025, which I will say was a slow month for me, but that's eBay. It's up and down, so we just keep moving forward. And once again, I am playing with my backgrounds. Isn't AI fun? So I am virtually at the beach. But I will be going on a little trip in July. So that's on my schedule. And I think I'll do it different this time. I did not even open my laptop on my trip in May, and that I think affected my sales. So I'm definitely going to schedule some listings to go out live every day in case on this next trip I also do not open my laptop, because that is the point of a trip, is to take some time, to have some downtime. And that's why we do this business. Although I'm pretty sure I'm going to be hitting some thrift stores and estate sales if I can find them. So anyway, what is this video about? This is about what one person can do as a part-time seller. And I like to show you my numbers, which this month are not impressive, but it is what it is. I also show you some items I sold, and I'm transitioning these videos to more of a teaching style where I can explain why I bought this item, if anything happened with customers that would be of value to you guys to know. A little bit more explanation about the items, and I am moving into different types of products. I used to be about 75% clothing, and now I'm getting into a whole bunch of other things that are profitable, and I'm learning it from you, from the posts on the Money Making Mondays on my group, the $100 sales, watching other YouTubers' videos. Yes, I do that. Because there's always more to learn. So we're always fine-tuning our business. Okay, and then after showing you some items that sold, I will show you some items I purchased and are listed, again, with any teachable moments. So hope you enjoy these videos. I love making them. So let's get started.
Okay, we'll start off with my numbers, which are provided by eBay, and I always show you where to find these. Just go to your Seller Hub under the Performance tab, and you will choose Sales and enter the time frame. So as you can see, I put in May 1st through the 31st, and it automatically compares it to the previous time frame. So if you want to look at that, you can, but I don't pay too much attention to that. So my total sales were down almost 20% from the previous time period. So that is not great, but that is the nature of the beast. So my total sales were only $2,861, and that does include shipping and taxes. So you have to be able to back that out when you are analyzing your numbers to see what the real numbers are. I sold 70 items, which was down 17.6%. So again, that's just the nature of the beast. You're going to have better months than others, but we just keep going. Overall, these are the numbers I look at. I sold 70 items. I currently have 400 items in my store. The dollar amount of my listed items is $15,803. My inventory cost for items sold in May, not everything I bought, just what's sold, was $411. My profit per item was down $14.21. I listed 233 items. 185 of those were refreshed listings, new listings that had never been there before. 48 listings. And again, in May, I took a little vacation. Things were kind of slow because I wasn't listing. And I was working on converting my BOLO books to ebooks, which took some time away from working on my eBay store. But that's why we do this business, is so we can step away when we want to. And I just accept I'm going to have better months than others. It all depends on what I'm listing, how much time I'm spending on it, other things I'm doing. So that is my recap. Now let's move on to some items that I sold. And maybe you'll learn something from these listings, and I'll give you a little backstory on the items because that's what's most valuable to me when I'm learning to sell new things. So this was an experiment. This was my first effort at selling handwritten letters. I got these on an online estate sale for $20. And there's some more items in other listings. So pretty good investment for the return. So what is it? It is a lot of 50 handwritten letters, 1924 to 1948. And as you can see, I put the person's name in the title because I learned from my very helpful Facebook group members that when people are doing genealogy and trying to find their ancestors or anything that belonged to their ancestors, they Google that name. So that is what I did. Let me show you some of the pictures here. There's the entire lot. Here is a close-up of some of the envelopes, and you'll notice back in the day they opened the envelopes from the side, which is kind of curious, but I did Google that, and it's because before envelopes you just folded the paper and mailed that. So people just continued to open them from the side. Here is another close-up. This Hotel Crillion does not exist anymore, so I don't know if that was appealing to someone. And then some more postmarks and stamps. An example of one of the letters. And what is kind of fascinating is this poor lady was having goiter surgery during part of the time of this. So she's getting a lot of cards and letters wishing her well in the hospital. The people writing to her are talking about it. So that's kind of how I figured it out. Now, I did go through and read everything, and I don't know if that's considered too much of a time suck, but I really enjoyed it. So instead of watching TV at night, I would read through five or so letters to see what the content was, because I do know that love letters or anything that takes place on a significant date in history is going to be more valuable, and I could pull those out and sell those separately. So I don't mind reading through these letters because it's quite entertaining and interesting, and they're just talking about their daily life and what's happening. But yet, here we are almost 100 years later, and some of these things are very significant. The way of life is very different. I even went on Google and searched for her name, Zelma Fender, and I found her. So this is a picture of her and her grave, which is on findagrave.com. But you can see there Zelma M, 1880 to 1973. So that's the rabbit hole I fell in, but a quite enjoyable rabbit hole. And I accepted an offer of $60 for this lot of 50 some odd handwritten letters. And I want to thank Eileen Cole, the book lady, commenting on this post on the Money Making Mondays, saying this was a good result for a first effort. You can expect about $1 per letter. So that is a great benchmark to measure going forward. So I'm going to count this as my most interesting sale. Next up is this art sketch. I'm really diving into many different areas of ephemera. So this was one of them. I purchased an artist sketchbook for about $50 at an estate sale, and I went through it and removed the pages. So it was like a scrapbook, so you could just unhook the fasteners and take it apart, so I didn't have to tear anything or rip it out or anything like that. But I pulled out maybe 15 of the best sketches, and I have those listed, so I'm going to see how those do before I list any more. Some of them are going in the trash because they're not, there's nothing to it. There's just a few lines or something. But this one was very good. This is an Alice Chalmers earth moving equipment machine. And I noticed on ephemera you want to put the date if you know it. If it's on the item. So I titled it Post War 1949 Alice Chalmers Tractor. I felt like tractor would be searched more than earth moving equipment, and it's shorter. Art sketch, and the artist was Everett Dents of Candor, New York. So here's the photo of the actual item, and then here is the whole thing showing that the edges are a little folded. But this is really exquisite work, very detailed, and I felt like this would be great for a man cave or a farmer or a Father's Day gift for somebody who has this brand of tractor. There's the measurements. I think it's 11 by 14. And then on the back, was nothing, but it came from the sketchbook where everything was dated in the 1940s. So if there was any question, the buyer could look at my other listings and see that I do have this artist's work, and many of his sketches do have his name and the date on the back. So this sold for the full asking price of $49.97. I allocated a cost of $4.29 to this, making my profit $37.92. I was very happy with this sale, and several of you asked, how did I ship this? Well, here is a photo of that. I simply wrapped it in plastic, like a small, trash can bag, and then put it between two pieces of cardboard, taped it up really good. Very simple. So I didn't want to roll it. Some people suggested rolling it on a pool noodle foam roller, but the paper was so old that I didn't want it to crack or, you know, break in any places where there was pressure on it. So I just shipped it like this, and it was totally fine. So I'm counting this as a win in the ephemera department. This next item has nothing to do with ephemera or history. This was my Rollo thermal printer. I purchased this in 2021, so it lasted me 4 years, and it just sort of stopped working. The paper would feed, but it wouldn't recognize that the paper was in there. So I made a little video showing that the red light would blink, the power turned on, everything was fine. You would try to feed a label, it didn't work. It turns on just fine, the green light comes on, and then the red light flashes. And then if you try to feed a label in manually, it will feed through, but it didn't recognize that the paper was in there. So I felt like something was wrong with the optical sensor, and I did all the research I wanted to do on how to fix this, and that is my conclusion, was the optical sensor was not working. So I just put it up there like this and said maybe a mechanical person can fix this and use it, but I was not up for that. It was taking too long. So anyway, that was a little video I made. So I listed it. The cord alone was worth $25. So I settled on an offer of $30 for something I'd had for over 4 years. And to be honest, I can usually figure things out, but if it's going to take more than 30 minutes, I don't have time for that. I need to get on with my work, and that becomes a time suck for me. So I'm happy that it went to somebody who wants to fool with it. And this is another example of don't throw anything away. If it doesn't work right, sell it for parts. And I love that video feature on eBay. Moving on to the linen department, I found this vintage Ralph Lauren pillowcase sham last fall, so it was about 6 months ago. $3 at a Goodwill, and I had about 7 million offers on this, very low offers, but I held out and finally took an offer of $35, making my profit $28. I see these on the Facebook group all the time and finally found one. So seek and ye shall find. These things are out there. This item gets the award for the item I'd had longest that sold in May. 1998 Fisher Price Briar Berry 10-inch plush bear. Prices were all over the board on this. Every time I ended it and restarted it, I checked prices and they just kept going down. So I think when I bought it, it was in its prime for some reason. Anyway, I paid $2.50 for this. Finally sold it for the full asking price at the time, which was $29.97, and my profit was just over $27 because I made a little money on the shipping. So that's the way collectibles work, is the values fluctuate. And after having it 2 years and watching the value continue to decline, I decided it was time just to let it go for the average selling price, and I still made money. This is another item I saved from the trash. I purchased a scrapbook with all kinds of photographs and memorabilia from the 1950s and decided that it's better to take these things apart because shipping that whole scrapbook is pretty expensive. It's really heavy. And so you can see where I just, took the pages out of the scrapbook. But I just put these on auction starting at $9.97. I got one bid. They sold because I sort of cherry picked the good stuff out of the scrapbook to sell individually. I'm still learning about this category, how to do this ephemera. You might remember the scrapbook I sold a few months ago. It was the whole book, but everything in it was great. It had fashion and hairstyles and cars, and um, that one was better to sell intact, but this one wasn't as good. And I put Forest City, Iowa, because that's the high school that was mentioned in here. That's what all the pictures are of. So it did go to Iowa, which is interesting. So maybe they're going to do something with it for a class reunion or memorabilia to display in the school. But I thought, yeah, well, we'll see what I can get for it. I only paid $30 for everything, so I did get a little bit of money back on this one. And I'm still selling horse ribbons. This shows 8 orders. Some had multiple items. I love it when they buy multiples. But this has turned out to be a fun product to sell because they're all different from different areas of the country, different colors, different competitions, and I'm getting some repeat customers here. I have just listed my 75th batch of these, and I've sold about 60 batches since March of this year. So, who knew that this could be so lucrative and fun? But I really do enjoy listing these and providing them as usually craft supplies for horse lovers out there. Now, this used to be a much more profitable bolo, but As with collectibles, prices go up and down. This is the iconic Tupperware salt and pepper shaker set that everyone had on their table in the 70s and early 80s. I got this for $6 at an estate sale, and I didn't even look it up. I just got them because, hey, I never found these before, and they're a bolo. But the market price is around $30 at this time. So I took an offer of $23 and my profit was $15. So I didn't lose any money. And these were super easy to ship because they're so lightweight. But lesson learned, look it up to make sure it's still a bolo because these things will change over time. And I feel like we need to look at maybe the last 90 days to see, okay, how much is this selling for right now? Certain products will fluctuate around specific seasons, so you got to keep that in mind. But it's a sale is a sale, so $6, and I sold them for 23, so that's still a profitable flip. This is your eBay knows no seasons item. I purchased this in September a few months back and started over again several times. My cost was $4.81. It sold for full asking price of $29.47. And if you look up here at the top, only 2 views. So don't worry about the views. It really only takes one for somebody to buy it. And this sold about 2 weeks after I ended it and started it over again and refreshed it, changed a few things. But this sold in May, cashmere sweater, sold in May. So if you have it listed, it could sell right away. And now on to a cashmere cutter lot. These are sweaters I have picked up over time and get them home and find a problem. And so I just put them all together in a lot and sell them for crafts or upcycling. But I do show each one and the brand name in case somebody might want to repair the issue. They'll know what brand they're dealing with because if it's a high-end brand, they may take the time to repair it and use it, sell it, whatever they want to do. So I always show a front and a back and the brand name of the sweater. Some are more expensive than others, but the bottom line is I'm not throwing them out. I'm not wasting money. I had $16 into these 4 sweaters. I took an offer of $28. My profit was only $12, but I got that $16 back that I originally spent. And this may sound like a waste of time, but when you make this a way of life, selling imperfect items, not throwing them away, such as the printer, these sweaters, when you make it a way of life, it adds up over time and it's just a nice little stream of income. So, those are some items I sold. Okay, and now for some items that I purchased and listed. This is a Pendleton 100% wool blanket. I got this at an estate sale. I did pay up for this about $30. And I went in high at 100 on this because while there are others like this listed for less, I know that not everyone offers international shipping, and this is the kind of thing that would go to Canada or colder regions of Europe. So I'm going to go in high and stick with that. But it does have the Pendleton 100% virgin wool tag on it. And I like doing blankets. They're just easy to photograph and they're easy to ship. Um, so we will see where this one goes. I also bought this because it is sort of a classic red plaid with a lodge flare. This is not buffalo plaid. That is red and black. So this is just a red plaid. So we'll see where that goes. And I have sold these types of blankets for 100 or more in the height of winter. So I'm okay to wait a few months on that if necessary. This is another classic red and black plaid item, a 100% cashmere scarf. This is not a high-end brand, but a good bread and butter item and small and easy to ship, which I like. I bought a whole box of scarves at an estate sale. They came out to be about $7 a piece, which I was okay with because of the quality and the condition. I have not found cashmere scarves at thrift stores in a very long time. So I don't know if they're pulling those to sell online or they just get grabbed up as soon as they get out on the floor. But I was okay with this. I priced it at $29.97. And here is another one that was made in Scotland. I would not be surprised if this went back over to the United Kingdom, but I thought this one was pretty with the multicolor plaid. I priced this one a little bit higher at $39.97. I always go in high, and then over time, if I get offers in a certain price range, I'll come down on my price. But nothing wrong with going in high and seeing what you get on the first round. I bought a bunch of wigs on an online auction and cherry picked out the good ones and then just put these leftovers in a lot together. I did check the research and these do sell in lots of just random styles. I'm wondering if they go to maybe theater groups or costume masters or whatever, just to have different wigs on hand for productions or whatever. Could also be used for Halloween. This one down here is like crazy. That could be a 80s rock band style or something. This white one reminded me of Betty White. So I haven't done this before, a lot of these together, so we'll see how that goes. This is an Eddie Bauer 80% down puffer coat. Now, I did order this on an online auction, and these stains on the cuffs did not show in the pictures. So that is the risk you take. I'm very careful about buying anything that could be stained if it's going to affect the sale price. But this is a really nice coat, and I've sold coats with minor damage before. Like somebody could use it as a backup coat. They don't care if it's dirty because it's going to get dirtier. I did try several stain removal methods. I think this is oil or grease because this just was not coming out. So I, went ahead and listed it. It's a nice coat. It's got the elastic toggle fastener waist. It's got, zippered pockets. Does not have a hood. I think it did at one time, but it's not with it. But still a nice coat. And we'll see where that goes. I don't like to give up on items. I'm going to try to sell it, even if it's not perfect. But this is listed here that there are some stains on the backs of the sleeves, and we'll just go with it. Also, side note, it is my size, so if it doesn't sell, I'll just wear it. Here are some more wigs from that lot. These came out to be about $6 a piece, and for this brand and style, 30 bucks is pretty good. Here's another one, also priced at 30, and then one more. Paula Young is a popular brand. It's on the lower end of pricing, but they do sell. So, and I enjoy doing these, although these kind of look like football helmets. they're, they're not real modern styles, but it doesn't matter because you don't know what it's going to be used for. And this could be someone's exact hairstyle that is going through chemo and they want something that looks exactly like their own hair, or they could be used for costumes or cosplay or anything. So don't judge whether you think it's modern or in style or trending, because you don't know what it's going to be used for. And I got these on an online auction, so the shipping to me was hardly anything. So that's a good product I look for on these online auctions. Okay, this was a great buy. This also came from an online auction. I ended up paying $30 total, including the shipping to me. This is the Bond Boot Company Effingham style English riding boots. And the reason I bought these was because they are, number one, they're vintage. They don't make these anymore. Number two, they're very high quality. And these were in excellent shape. They had a lot of pictures, so I was confident in what I was buying. And the size is 7, it says 7WC. So that stands for wide calf. And in boots, wide calf are not so easy to find. My sister wears that in boots, and she has a terrible time finding the wide calf. She doesn't have a wide foot, it's just the way boots fit her need to be wide calf. So um, that was, I was like, oh, that stands for wide calf. And I did verify that. And also, they came with these things, which I didn't know what they were at first. I was like, are these like boot shapers? Are these horse hoof picks? Like, what are these? But they are boot pullers. So they're these little loops inside the boot, and you hook this device in there to pull up the boots. So I learned that, and even these sell on their own, but this all came together, so that's the way I'm selling it. So this was an excellent buy, and I've got them priced at 200. So we will see where that one goes. This is another estate sale buy, and this is like a blast from the past, way back. These are Woolrich wool hunting pants with suspenders. And these were $30. I have them priced at 200, and these are just fabulous. They're in excellent condition. They have the reinforced knees on the front and reinforced patches on the back, the reinforced seat. They have these lace up ties that are leather. They have zippers on the other side of the leg, and all the zippers worked. Everything was fine. Turn them inside out here to show what great condition they're in. I did go over them with a sweater stone to get the pilling off, but like the pockets are in great condition, all the zippers work, and I have them priced at 200 because they're very old and in excellent condition for their age. So that was a fun find. And I will end with my most fun find, a 1972 Zodiac Signs linen calendar. Now, you may not know this, but the calendar part, it repeats every 28 years. It's exactly the same, the numbers of the dates on the certain days. So people collect these or buy these for their birth year. So a calendar is going to be exactly the same with the dates on the certain days every 28 years. So it works for all these years. And this was actually a leap year, which makes it even more rare because those leap year babies like things with their February 29th date on the items. So put that in your brain of things to look for, leap year calendars. And this is a vintage linen one. It's in very good condition. I paid about $10 for it, and I have it priced at 100, so we will see where that goes.
Okay, that wraps up another sales update video. I would love any comments below. Thank you for stopping by and watching my videos. I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a fantastic day on eBay. Bye, everybody.